Okay, so today I want to talk about what's happening in our gut when food is not moving through in the way that it should be, as quickly as it should be. We want things to process through smoothly, and it gives us time to absorb our nutrients, gives us time to collect waste that needs to be eliminated from our body, and then to get it out. Because if it sits there, we start to reabsorb those toxins that our body's meant to be eliminating. And we also start to have food rotting or fermenting or going bad in our system. And just imagine the what can happen from that, the consequences of not moving things through as quickly as we want to and as quickly as we should be. So I know a lot of you struggle with constipation. For me, that was a major issue as well. Really uncomfortable to not be going every day or not be going completely. On a regular basis and really clearing out our system. This is a super important piece. And so the reason I want to talk about this is because there are definitely things that we can do about this. And I see all the time people go from being really stopped up to really regulated. And it can happen pretty quickly for some people. It's not that simple for everybody, but for some people it can happen really quickly. And of course, it depends on if you have underlying conditions or other things going on that are feeding into this challenge. But as you figure out your individual food sensitivities and your individual food triggers, it decreases the inflammation in your body and gives our body the space it needs to really get back to balance and to homeostasis and, to work on repairing. Where when we're eating foods that trigger us all the time, or even if not all the time, on an ongoing basis, we're eating those foods, it's like our system just has this low level of inflammation happening that it has to deal with all the time. The immune system is reacting to foods that aren't serving us well. And so that takes a lot of energy and resources, and it really takes away from our ability for our body to get us back to where we need to be. So, this isn't something that happens overnight for most people, but as we figure out and tune into things that are serving you well and foods that are triggering you, it can make a huge difference on your regularity and on your ability to move food through. So the other symptom that happens from this same underlying issue is reflux. And there's other symptoms as well, but I'm going to talk about this today as well, because reflux is a big challenge for a lot of people. And so what happens is we don't process the food out of our stomach into our intestines in a timely enough manner. We don't have enough acid and enzymes to break that food down and really move it through our system so that we can take what we need, get rid of what we don't need, and go on to the next meal, or to other things in our life. So what can happen is there's a lot of pressure that is put on the sphincter that connects the esophagus and the stomach. And that sphincter over time, it gets irritated, it becomes weak, and it really doesn't open and close the way it needs to. And so contents from your stomach can seep back up and really cause those really debilitating reflux and heartburn symptoms that so many people experience. So anyway, just to put this into big picture, like we have this really long tube in our system. It starts with our mouth, and then as we eliminate, food is moved out the other end. And if things aren't moving through there, it can create a lot of pressure, a lot of stagnation, and a lot of issues for a lot of people. And so really looking at what is underlying that stagnation and that slowed down motility is super important. And so the place that I most commonly start with my clients is with figuring out their individual food triggers and food sensitivities. And when you do this, it really clears space to look at other lifestyle and other stress factors, because, our brain fog lifts and our bodies feel more nourished and more satiated, and the inflammation decreases and anxiety comes down, and we're able to really work with those other areas to make further steps and further growth and improvement and changes. So again, this is the most simple but not the easiest thing to do. But really, the simplicity is really figuring out what foods work for you and what foods don't. And when I say simple, I also understand from my own journey and from my clients as well that it is super complicated in figuring that out. It's a simple statement. But for some people, it can be taking out one or two foods. For other people, it's diving deeper and really looking at, what are your thresholds to certain foods? What are your thresholds to certain food categories? So if you're somebody who is eating healthy, you've removed foods, you're still not feeling good, looking deeper into, what's accumulating in your system over a few days or over a week, or on an ongoing basis, those things can be causing symptoms. And that's a little bit more complicated as far as figuring out what is triggering you if you're in that situation. But it's completely possible, and there are patterns and clues and ways of doing that, of really diving into that. So if this is something that you need help with, I offer a free coaching session, and I'd be super happy to help you figure out a plan to start to take control of these food sensitivities. I get from my own experience how debilitating it is, how uncomfortable it is, and I see it with clients all the time too. I also get to see the other side because I've gotten better, and I see people get better all the time and really take control where they can focus on other things in their life and not just always be focused on the symptoms that they're having and how they're not feeling good and not able to show up. As we start to take these steps and work holistically with stress and lifestyle and food, it really makes a huge difference. So if you want to learn more about that holistic process, I also have a free training. So if you're interested in either the free coaching session, write yes in the comments below. I'll send you a message. You can leave me your email address in the comments if you want as well. And I'll send you a message, and we can set up a time to chat and really take some time to dive into what's going on for you. If you're interested in learning more about supporting yourself through food and lifestyle and what your next steps are for healing, I have a free training, and I will put the link below this video so that you can access that. And it's super helpful in figuring out what your next steps are and just understanding how holistically supporting your body and removing these barriers, these stressors on your gut can make such a significant impact in your life. So I know that'll be super helpful for you. Click on the link below and follow that. And I'd love to hear your feedback and your thoughts as well after you've watched it and see how it was for you. I look forward to talking with you next time. I hope this has been helpful, and we'll speak again soon.